everyone, and welcome to today's Lunch and Learn. My name is Alice Chance, and I am Head of Student Operations at Manchester Codes. Today, I am joined by Joe Campbell, who is a Talent Acquisition Lead over at BJSS, who's going to be discussing their early careers options and their academy. So I will hand it over to Joe. Thanks, Joe.
Cheers. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so Alice mentioned I work at a company called BJSS, which if you haven't come across before, you'll see a little bit more about throughout this presentation. And yeah, I lead on all of our early careers recruitment across the business. So anyone that joins a business from perhaps an alternative pathway, so your graduates, apprentices, and career changers, who all end up coming through our academy program, which I'll give you a bit more information about obviously within this presentation as well. I kind of head up the recruitment for that. So yeah, I'll get into it. Obviously, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to put them in the comment section, but we will do a bit of a Q&A at the end as well. So if there's any that pop up that I can answer along the way, I will do, but it might be the end I get around to answering them as well.
Thanks,
okay. So first of all, it's just a bit of an overview of kind of who we are as an organisation and what we do. So if you've not come across BJSS at all before, we are a leading technology and engineering consultancy. So what does that mean? We work with a wide variety of different clients, building bespoke software solutions for them, pretty much. So we've been going for almost 30 years, and we originally were founded in Leeds, but we now operate out of 26 different offices across the UK and also kind of international sites. I'll go into a little bit more detail around some of those locations that we have further along in the presentation. We've got over 2,500 people across the organisation now, so a pretty good sized business. So a really good environment for you to kind of work within large teams and learn from really skilled and experienced people. In terms of, what's exactly what we do. So we work with a variety of different clients, offering kind of end-to-end solutions for them. So all the way from kind of the design phase through to the delivery, and also managing software solutions once we've developed them. We actually recently won the Princess Royal Training Award for our work that we've done with our academy program. So if you've not come across that at all before, it's something that's an award that's headed up by Princess Anne, and it's awarded to organisations across the UK within various different industries and sectors for the work that they're doing around training and development of either current staff or kind of creating opportunities for people in various different industries. And we won that for our academy program and providing opportunities for people looking to move into the tech sector. Okay, so in terms of exactly what we do, I apologise about some of the writing. It might be hard to read because it's actually altered my font when I've uploaded it onto this system. So it might make it a bit difficult for you to read what says there, because it looks like it's all just one massive word, doesn't it? So everything that we do for design and drive digital transformation. So we help digitalize services, deliver to new digital products and services, and transform delivery capabilities. So there's 6 kind of key areas that we operate within, which kind of all underpin those kind of large-scale digital transformation projects. So the kind of main body of our work is within the technology and engineering sector. So people who are actually involved with building and delivering on these kind of solutions. So I'll go into a little bit more depth and further down the slide around some of the actual projects that you and clients you might expect to work with. But yeah, for the most part, and actually the majority of people that come through our academy program end up moving into like technical software development, testing, data, or kind of platform roles where they're actually building these solutions day to day for our clients. So people like your developers who are kind of writing code and building those solutions. We also have kind of a large scale cloud and platform team. So working with various different organizations and kind of large scale cloud migration projects. Obviously it's a big kind of, it's like a hot topic in industry at the moment, and you will get the opportunity to work in a variety of different projects utilizing those skills if it's something that's of interest. We have a managed service team, so that's kind of quite a big growth area for us at the moment. So when we've actually built and delivered solutions for our clients, we actually then will manage them in a live environment. So within our managed service team, we have people like service support analysts, tech support, service delivery managers. So it actually just means that we can provide kind of longer term support for our clients once we build those solutions for them. So we support their users and their customers, helping them to kind of best utilize the products that we've built, but also looking to continuously improve those. So it just gives an opportunity to work for our clients for a longer period of time. Another kind of relatively new but kind of growing area for a business is the data and AI space. So we've got kind of quite a large data team now looking at things like data analysis and data engineering. So obviously more and more organisations are looking to actually utilise the data they have available to them, analysing that and helping it to inform the decisions that they're looking to make. So it's been a kind of a big growth area for us, and we've seen a lot of interest for people that are actually starting through our academy program who are looking to move into more data focused positions. We also have a design agency as part of our organisation called Spark. So they're around about 6 years old now, and it came out of conversations that we'd had with our clients previously who were looking for kind of consultancies that could help to design digital products for them, and there didn't seem to be many people in the market that were offering those services. So we had people in our organisation that had an interest in that area, so an interest in things like user experience and user interface design. So we utilised the skills that we already had and also the client base that was already in place to develop a new area of the business called Spark. So they do a lot of stuff like user research, user experience and interface design, service design. So actually just means that we can get involved with our clients to deliver on projects at an earlier stage. So all the way from kind of identifying what that problem is by the user research, helping to scope out how we can actually build those solutions, and moving it through to obviously the technology and engineering part of the business where we build and development, and then obviously then into managed service area side of the organisation. So it really is a full end-to-end service. And again, another relatively new area of our business is our consulting arm. So maybe more traditional strategic and operational consultants. So they're kind of less hands-on technical, very much client-facing people going out to organisations and helping to understand kind of what issues they're facing, kind of changes that we helping them to come to decisions around changes they can implement to help with their kind of plans to grow or alter the ways that they work. So looking at things like structural and organizational changes, like the digital strategy. More recently, we've actually looking at like sustainability as well. So working with organisations looking at kind of green tech or how they can be more sustainable and greener in the way that they operate. So yeah, the 6 key areas, it covers pretty much all of the bases when you're looking at delivering kind of digital transformations for businesses. So yeah, kind of really kind of large scale services. So in terms of who do we work with? So we've got kind of a wide variety of different clients that we work with across numerous different industries. And I think that's one of the key kind of the key things that people do enjoy about working here is that variety of work that you can hopefully get involved with. It's a great opportunity for you to work with different organizations, utilizing different skills with using different technologies, and also just working within different teams gives you a great environment to learn and develop your skills. So there's kind of a number of key areas that we work across. These aren't the only areas that we work within, but it's just a bit of an overview to give you an understanding of the variety in terms of what you could get involved with. So health and social care is a big area for us. So the NHS, but also private healthcare providers as well, and other government bodies that work within that area. A lot of other public sector clients, some people like the Home Office, Driver Vacant Standards Agency, and other government branches that we work with. There is actually a slide next which will go through a variety of different clients as well. A lot of work within the retail industry, so looking at building like e-commerce platforms, but also like logistical platforms or kind of warehouse management systems and financial services. So work quite heavily with high street banks, but insurance companies and investment banks. And also kind of working with various different organizations building trading platforms as well. And also kind of commodities and energy. So companies within like the oil and gas industry as well. So it's really quite varied in terms of the organizations that you can work with. Some really kind of large scale global brands, which you'll see on the next page, which I'll go to now. So yes, hopefully you can see the variety of different clients that we work with. And I suppose hopefully you will have heard of at least some of those. Obviously there's hopefully some big kind of well-known brands within there. But yeah, it gives you an opportunity to see the different types of work that you could possibly get involved with. So I guess some examples of the projects that we are working on or I've worked on in the past. So I guess a good place to start would be the NHS. So with the NHS, we've developed a wide range of different systems that are either kind of back-end systems that sit across the NHS estate or also kind of patient-facing applications. So I guess something that's quite topical over the past couple of years has been the NHS app. So we actually helped to build and develop the NHS app, which was in circulation prior to COVID, which allows people to access previous medical records. You can do repeat prescriptions, you can book hospital appointments through it, and it was designed to make NHS services more accessible to people, and obviously easy to access. One of the things that actually was implemented throughout the pandemic was the ability for people to check their vaccine status through that application, or also their test results. So it was something that obviously we were involved with to help support with kind of the NHS to cope with the pandemic. Other systems we worked on with the NHS, we built the main back-end messaging system called Spine 2, and that was the first project we ever worked on with the NHS, and we do still support that within our managed service team. And that's the main the main back-end messaging system that sits across all of the NHS estate. So if you go to any doctors or hospital and they bring up your medical records and they update them in real time, it's something that's kind of a really large-scale, high-performing system. It's actually the world's largest open-source database, and it deals with over 1 billion messages a week with no message loss. So it's really quite important that that's constantly kind of working as intended, because obviously it's dealing with people's medical records, so it's important that they're always up to date if obviously you've got any allergies or your medication that you're receiving as well. Another system we worked on relatively recently with the NHS was with the London Paramedic Service. So we developed a mobile application that allowed paramedics to be able to access people's medical records at the side of the road. So previously, I'm not sure why, but paramedics didn't used to be able to access kind of the main databases when they weren't at the hospital. So it didn't mean that they could give the best possible care to people who they were picking up. So it actually allowed you to be able to do more relevant care sooner than having to wait until you got to hospitals. We work with the Home Office, so a couple of examples of what we're doing with them. So we're actually working with them at the moment to implement the systems that are allowing for Ukrainian refugees to be able to apply for asylum in the UK. But we did also help to build the system following Brexit for EU nationals to be able to apply for pre-settled status as well. We built HSBC's mortgaging platform. We at Waitrose, if you've been to Waitrose, when you do your self-scan shopping and when you go around the shop and do the scanning yourself, we built that system. Something that lots of people might have had experience with as well is a driving test. So we worked with DVSA, and until relatively recently, DVSA, when you did your practical driving test, it used to be done on like a pen and paper, so the instructor would sit next to you, they do it on a clipboard, and they go back to the office and update it afterwards. Whereas we now have actually created a mobile application that they can access on a tablet and actually update it in real time throughout the driving test, obviously saving them time as well. So yeah, I guess obviously on there you can see with lots of different organisations, so retail organisations, banking organisations, and it's hopefully the opportunity to get involved with some kind of really large scale enterprise level systems. So I guess something that I always like to cover off in this is some of our core values. I think it's something that people often mention that is one of the reasons why we wanted to apply, because the values line up against their own relatively well. I think lots of organisations probably have similar values, but I think I've been at BJSS for 4 years now, and I think these actually are really close to everything that we do as a business. And these are kind of the core values that we've had for 30 years, and they've stayed kind of similar and to the centre of everything that we do. So one of the key ones, so to start with them, so professional excellence. We always look to deliver outstanding and quality work regardless of the role. So across the business, everyone's always looking to do the best possible job that they can. I think especially when we're building products for our clients, we're always looking to do the best possible job. So it's not about kind of getting something out there as soon as we can. We're always looking to go above and beyond, and it's often feedback that we do receive from our clients in terms of the way that we do operate. So if there's a way that we're seeing something's being done, but maybe it's a shortcut, we could do something slightly better and to develop a better outcome, and that's something that we'd always look to do. So we want people who are proud of delivering the best possible work, and I guess that's hopefully a reputation that we've got within the market is actually an organisation that always looks to build the best possible products that we can. So I guess that ties into delivering great outcomes. So we share a passion to excel, and absolutely we're key focus on delivery. So obviously we're always looking to deliver the best and deliver for our clients and build those long-term relationships with them. So from our perspective, we don't want to be just seen as another kind of service provider, want to be like a long-term delivery partner. So you will find that a lot of the clients that we have worked with for a long time. We often will find that we get repeat business in terms of new projects that we work on with them because of the good work that we've done previously. But it's not, I guess obviously that kind of long-term relationship and partnership is really important. So we work closely with our clients to ensure that we are doing kind of what's relevant, but in terms of what they're looking for. But after building those long-term relationships, we get a lot of trust from them. So it's not like we're being micromanaged by them. We often get given the opportunity to kind of go away and deliver products as we see fit. And I think hopefully that's what our clients have come to us to do, is like obviously utilize our expertise and technical excellence to be able to deliver those products. So hopefully building that trust and those long-term relationships allows us to be a bit more like autonomous in terms of the way that we operate. So we're not having to constantly check with them in terms of if it's what they want, because we know what they want because we've worked with them for a long period of time. And I guess that ties into kind of being a bit more innovative in the way that we approach problems as well. So often organizations will come to us to solve a problem because it's something that they perhaps can't solve themselves internally. So perhaps so we might have to be a bit more creative in our approaches. So it gives you a great opportunity to be able to, I guess, try out new ways of working. So whether that's new ways of setting up teams, or using new technologies, or using new tools. So it's a great way for you to actually to look at using developing new skills, but also hopefully being an early adopter of kind of new tech. So it's a great environment for you to kind of learn and develop. And I guess probably one of the most important things across the business is collaboration. So not just collaborating with our clients, I've already mentioned, or within your teams, but wider collaboration as a business as a whole. So there's a big emphasis in the business around kind of teamwork and knowledge sharing, whether that's through running kind of lunchtime workshops, like lunch and learns, or doing kind of tech workshops, or actually kind of access to internal courses that we developed across the organisation. I think you've got to have to be constantly learning within a consultancy, probably even more so than another organisation, because you are moving between projects and picking up new skills on a regular basis. So, but although there'll be people in the business, although it'll be something that's completely new to you, we like to think in a business of our size now, with so many people with so much technical expertise, there's going to be someone who's got experience of that previously. So it's about actually kind of utilising those skills that are available to you across the organisation. So I said we've got lots of internal content that's been developed around different tools or technologies or industries. We constantly, we kind of on a weekly basis, we'll do like tech talks, but we'll also do just like talks where people come and talk about the projects that they're working on, so you can get a bit of an understanding and an overview of what's going on across the business. There's lots and lots of kind of communities across Slack, and then I guess collaboration with kind of within the academy as well, which I'll come on to in a little bit as well. Cool. So I did mention briefly about kind of the various different locations that we've got. So obviously this isn't everywhere now. These are probably, I picked out some of the more interesting locations. I haven't put places like Milton Keynes and Reading on there because I don't think people would mind. So it's just to give you a bit of an overview of the different types of locations you might expect to work, or you might want to move to in the future. So the company does support individuals who perhaps want to go and work on projects in different locations. I guess it's taken a bit of a hit over the past couple of years, and with the changes in the way that we work. But I think hopefully now we are seeing opportunities for people to go out and travel to different locations where they can. So I'm actually in the Manchester office today, although I'm usually based in Leeds, and obviously in my role I do a fair bit of travel. But I think actually if you're looking to relocate in the future, there's chances to do that. And I guess one of the great things about having so many offices is you don't have to have the worry about looking for a new role, which I guess sometimes is one of the main worries if you're looking to move to a new city. So yeah, across the country we've got a really good spread. Probably in most major cities we now have offices, and we've got a number of different international sites. And I say if you ever fancy working abroad, there is opportunities for you to do so, and the company would look to support that. So yeah, I think we've got we've got New York and Houston over in the States, and we're actually looking at opening up a third site in the States later this year. And we opened up a Melbourne office a couple of years ago, and we've got a number of different locations based out in Europe. So Copenhagen, Porto, Lisbon, Dublin as well. And I guess whenever we kind of open up a new location, we do always look to offer opportunities to people within the business already. I think it's important for us to get current BJSS employees out into those new sites to help to instill the company culture, and help to set that up in different locations. So yeah, if you ever fancy the opportunity to travel, there's some quite interesting and nice places for you to be able to go to. Okay, so the academy. So I guess the academy is it's a centralized function which kind of covers recruitment, training, development, and support for anyone really that joins the business in kind of an early careers type capacity. So when we say early careers, that doesn't mean you have to be kind of young first. I think it's your early in terms of your career within tech. So we have anyone who joins as an apprentice, a graduate, or a career changer. So people who've come through various different boot camps similar to Manchester Codes. It's about providing you with kind of a more supportive and structured kind of environment to help your development within the business. And we manage we're a standalone team that works kind of together and works obviously with the rest of the business, but we manage kind of all the way through from those initial conversations that you have. So myself or my team members, Imogen and Becca, will be your first point of contact when you apply. And we obviously manage you through that recruitment process. But then we also are involved with the onboarding process and actually helping and also get and helping to support you once you join the business. So it's nice to have that constant interaction with someone that you might already know. So when you do join the business, you've got a friendly face of someone that's actually helped to support you through the recruitment process. We also then obviously look to train you up. So anyone who comes through our academy program, there's a training program for the first 4 weeks. And we've developed that training content, and it's about providing you with the foundations that you might need once you've gone and placed onto a project. We then provide kind of a number of extra support functions across the projects that you're on, but outside of that, to ensure that you've got all the help and guidance that you need within the business to help you develop, which I'll go on to shortly, and also helping with your growth across the business. So whether that's helping you to ensure you have access to the relevant training that you need, or that make it point in the right direction of individuals who'll be able to give you advice and guidance, making sure you're placed on the right types of projects. So it's not just kind of growth from kind of your skills wise, but also we've implemented like an accelerated growth plan in terms of kind of earning potential, because at the end of the day, that's why we're all here, isn't it, to get paid. So it's for those that have come through the academy program within the first couple of years, we've actually increased the rate in which you can expect to increase your salary. So depending on your performance, so it's performance based upon actually the feedback that you receive from your projects, in terms of from your colleagues, but also you might get client feedback as well. So that's obviously the key area they look at. Obviously, you starting to take on more responsibility on your project. Are you starting to kind of fully grasp what's required of you and the skills that are required to deliver on that, and obviously starting to add value to the project in terms of being a fully fledged member of the team. But also we'll look at your development as well. So we might set your objectives around skills that we'd like you to develop, so a better understanding of a particular technology or a concept, or actually we'd like you to complete a certain qualification. And then also kind of like the value add stuff as well. So you could get involved and support with recruitment. So you might help to do interviews once you've been here for kind of 6 months, a year. You might look to help out at recruitment events. So that when we go to universities, you might actually look to help out when we deliver an academy. So we actually get previous alumni to come back and support in terms of tutors when we run those programs. So the stuff that maybe isn't traditionally aligned to what your role is, but it's actually stuff that's really important, and it's helping you with your development, and also it's adding to help the business. So we look at those three key areas, and within your first couple of years, so at 12 months and also 24 months, depending upon your performance, you can expect to receive somewhere between a 10 and a 40% increase on your base. So it's a really good opportunity for you to develop really quickly within those first couple of years. We only introduced this 18 months ago, but on average across the people who've got to a year mark, it's been around about a 30% increase. So around about 30%, which obviously towards the top end. And there is examples of people who've overachieved. So I know of people who've actually ended up getting a 50% increase on the base because they've been doing a really, really good job. So obviously within the company, it is very much a kind of a meritocracy, but we wanted to implement something that allowed you to progress quicker when you've come through these programs. I think, especially for those perhaps who have started off in previous careers, it's a great way for you to kind of get back up to where you might have been earning previously in a short period of time. So in terms of a trainer, so obviously I'll give you a bit of detail around that. So there's there's a couple of things that hopefully we feel might make our training stand out from some of our competitors. So it's all practitioner led. So all the training is delivered by individuals who actually work in these roles on a day-to-day basis. So it's not kind of delivered by trainers who don't understand what's actually going on within the industry. These are people who are doing this on a day-to-day basis, who have a really good understanding of the skills that are required for you to perform within these roles. So they're all working on projects, and they get time off project to come and work on the academy. They develop the content as well. So we're constantly looking to change it. So after every time we run an intake, we will look to kind of do a retrospective and make sure that the content's still relevant and up to date. Is new technologies that are being utilised and new concepts that people are using more regularly. And we actually send out surveys to the people who've come through the academy as well. So we do like a 6 month and a year survey. So we send it out to people who've been through the programme, ask them around what did you cover that was really, really helpful. So what have you used on a regular basis? And obviously we should keep learning. Is there certain things that perhaps you weren't taught about, which have been really, really useful, or would have been really useful to know? Is there stuff that perhaps you haven't used at all? So we can actually make sure that it is always fit for purpose, and we're providing the best possible training for people that's going to be relevant for them once they place onto projects. We also have kind of quite extensive pre-learning materials that we send out to individuals prior to them learning. So usually kind of 4 weeks before you join, we give you access to some of our systems, and there's a wide range of different reading materials and exercises that you can look at and complete. So I think at the moment it's up to 150 hours worth of resources, which is not an expectation that you have to do all of that. But there's some core stuff that we ask everyone will look at beforehand. So you're not coming into the academy with no understanding of some of the concepts that are going to be covered. So actually you do have a basic understanding, and it helps you to kind of obviously hit the ground running to some extent. And then if there's something in there that you found really interesting, you can actually delve into it deeper and start to kind of look at that in a bit more depth. I guess in terms of what the training covers, it's quite broad in terms of what it covers. The idea is it's not designed to teach you how to code. So there's a prerequisite that you have to have some previous programming experience. I can see that someone asked around kind of what level of technical competency do you expect from people. It's difficult to say because we do have people from a really wide range of different backgrounds. So we've got individuals who actually might have done like a computer science degree and have actually done a year in industry, and we've got other individuals who have completely self-taught. So we've got people who haven't even been through like boot camps, have actually just done online courses. I think if you've got a basic understanding or a good understanding of the basic concepts of a particular language, and you've got a passion for technology and you're eager to learn, I think that is what we look for. I think we're looking for potential with some technical competency, and I say that, and there is varying levels of ability. You're not kind of assessed against each other, and if you need support throughout this training or there and after, it's about providing you with the help and guidance that you need. So you're not really assessed throughout the initial 4-week period. We will speak to you and see if there's particular things that you're struggling with, and if there is, how can we actually help you to grasp that or support you where we need to. But yeah, I guess it's about providing you with the foundations to go upon and build upon further. So like it's 4 weeks. There's no expectation that you're going to be the finished article by the end of that. It's more around teaching you around how do we operate here at BJSS. So how do we set up our teams? What do we believe to be best practices? And kind of what are some of the kind of key technologies that you'll utilize no matter what project you're placed upon. So you look at, it starts off with doing some like professional skills training. So we actually do some stuff around some of the softer skills that you might require as a consultant. So effective communication, working within teams, actually how would you liaise with clients, and how do you deal with like difficult situations, all things that aren't kind of technical but are really important for your role. Then you'd look at Agile as a delivery methodology. So I'm sure you probably cover Agile within the course, but we are strong advocates of Agile, so much so we've got our own book. We wrote about it with our own approach called Enterprise Agile, which is available online. If you are interested, I can send you a link. But that's something that we developed over the past kind of 30 years, and it's looking at actually how we've managed to implement certain aspects of working in an agile way with organizations that sometimes are adverse to changing and operating in that particular manner. But I think the main thing is it's about kind of being more collaborative, being more flexible, and kind of working more closely with the client and being able to kind of adapt and change, which I think is really important I guess within any technical project, because things change in terms of what you want to build, and the marketplace changes. But I think especially as a consultancy, because clients might change their mind, so having that adaptability and ability to change is always really helpful. you look at agile, and then you go into some more of the technical aspects. So you'll look at like core software engineering principles, looking at kind of server side and kind of UI development. You'll touch upon kind of like databases. You'll do some stuff around cloud computing and testing. As I said, there's not an expectation that you're going to be the finished article by the end of this at all. It's just about giving you, hopefully, a broad knowledge across the board that you can go on and build upon further. So once I'll go into how we support you afterwards in a couple of slides, but once you've completed the training, it's not like we're going to put you on a project and that's it. You're expected to be a fully fledged member of a team. We appreciate that it's going to take you some time to settle in, and it's about providing you with the correct environment in order to be able to do that. So I guess this is a bit more detail about kind of what you'll learn. So we don't really focus on specific technologies. It's more around the concepts. So we want to teach you around why you use it, how things work, or why you use certain things in a certain way. Because I guess as a consultancy and with the range of different clients we work with, we do work with lots of different tools and technologies. So if we just taught you how to use Java per se, you might not necessarily end up working on a Java project. So it's about actually teaching around the concepts and best practices that you can actually then transfer across to whatever you end up doing. It is very much hands-on as well. So we feel obviously there's obviously an overview of actually how people best learn. Obviously those practical and more interactive aspects are definitely areas that people seem to learn better in. So we do try and make it as practical as we possibly can. So we do a lot of kind of interactive sessions, I guess. So we've actually, the intake we just did in June, we had the first week. So last week, everyone was back in person for the first week. So we brought everyone to Leeds for that first week. And it was great to have everyone back together. And we did obviously quite a lot of interactive sessions within that. It's a great opportunity for you to get to know the people who are on the program with you. But also the following 3 weeks now are going to be a mixture of remote and in person. I think and that's the model we're going to continue to follow. And I think it works quite well because it's a best representation of what it's probably going to be like once you place onto projects. So ourselves as an organisation, we're looking to kind of still work in a hybrid way. Exactly what that looks like is kind of individual preference and project dependent. So we can't guarantee like a certain number of days from home because it does come down to what our kind of clients' demands are. But we are seeing a lot more flexibility, kind of work from home, and also but that opportunity to go into the office, which I think obviously really is important. I think especially when you start a new role, and especially starting a completely new career, it's a great. I think you'll learn a lot more if you're in there with the team and working alongside them on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, so we try and make it as interactive as we can. So it's a mixture of like seminars where there'll be content and kind of given to you, and then you'll discuss that. But then also like practical group sessions as well. So throughout the 4-week training period, you actually mimic like a software delivery project on a much smaller scale. So you work within small groups, and the first week you're given a brief. You go away, design, build, and then at the last week you pitch that solution back to kind of a group of people, like the tutors who are delivering the course. So I guess it's a great opportunity because it gives you a chance to kind of develop your presentation skills as well. It gives you an opportunity to put into practice some of the concepts and technology that you're learning about in a practical setting. And for those that perhaps haven't had an experience of working on a project, it kind of gives you a view of actually how a project's structured and the different levels of the different areas of like the software delivery lifecycle as well. So again, I guess the support, as I mentioned before, is a really important part, and probably see as more important than the actual training that you receive in the first place. Because if we just put you on a project and don't provide you with any support, you're not going to be able to succeed. So we've put in place a number of functions to ensure that you've got the help and guidance that you need. So across the business, we have your traditional kind of line management structure, but what we have within BJSS is squads. So you have a squad lead who's your line manager, but then you've also got like a group of people within that squad who are there to support with, I guess, you do like social, so it's a great opportunity for you to get to meet different people from across the organisation, but they're also there to answer questions and queries if you have them as well. So it's a mixture of people from various different areas of the business at various different levels, so you can kind of tap into their experience and kind of knowledge as well. And then obviously your squad is there, your squad lead's there as like your direct line manager. So they might not necessarily be on a project with you, but they're there to help with your development. So they'll do your personal like your performance reviews, set your objectives, they'll kind of feedback and gather the feedback and provide that to you from your project as well. And if there's any issues, you can go to them with any kind of pastoral care issues as well. But what we've actually looked to put in place outside of that is some like academy specific support functions. So we have a technical mentor scheme. So we assign you with someone at a more senior level who can support you with any technical questions or queries you might have. So again, they might not necessarily be someone on your project, but it's someone who you can build a relationship with. If you've got a particular problem you can't solve, they hopefully will be able to give you some insights and help you to solve that, point you in the right direction, or give you advice around kind of how you can solve that issue. They could give you advice around perhaps training development you might want to focus on. They can give you career and advice as well, and help with kind of where you want to progress to within your career if you don't really know what you want to do. We also have a buddy scheme. So we partner up with someone who's come through the academy program previously. So someone who's got first-hand experience of going through the academy. So they're really well placed to be able to answer any questions or queries you might have, give you top tips or insights around their own experiences because they've been through the program themselves in the past. So obviously they've been in your situation, and they understand what it's like to kind of start on a project or start within BJSS and what they would have found useful or what they wish they would have known. We also kind of work. We've got someone who's within our resourcing team, so the person who actually looks at the projects that people get placed on, who specifically looks after people who come through our academy, come through the academy. So it's their job to make sure that initially the projects that you get placed on are the right types of projects. So outside of obviously these support functions that are kind of just there to help you development, we'll make sure that the project you're placed on has got an established team with plenty of experienced individuals to give you that day-to-day support that you need, and also kind of an understanding that you're not going to be kind of fully fledged member of a team straight away, and there's going to be a bedding in period and giving you the chance to actually learn and develop, and making sure you've got the right people around you who can give you that help and support that you need. I guess that ties in as well somewhat to kind of the academy ambassadors as well. So they're like local representatives across each region for the academy. So the academy is a centralized team, but the vast majority of us are based in Leeds. So when you go back to whichever location you're based out of, because we hire into 10 locations across the UK, which I'll come on to after this, there's someone that's a representative of the academy. So if you've got any issues, so if you're not getting the support you need on your project, it's someone that you know and you can go and speak to, and they can go and have a conversation with the resourcing team. Or if you don't know where you can access particular learning materials or how you can do a certification or qualification, they're there and they're visible, and you can go and talk to them. And then also we've got the academy team as well. So let's say we've got a team of around about 7 or 8 individuals now whose sole focus is to kind of either recruit operational side, the training, or the support side within the academy. So you will get to know some of us or all of us either through the recruitment process or once you join the business. So that initial training period, you'll get to know all of us probably. So if you've got any questions or queries, you've always got someone that you've got a relationship with previously, you can go and help, and we can kind of point you in the right direction of who can support you. I guess in terms of where you can end up from the academy, so there's 4 kind of key pathways that you can go down. So software engineering, platform engineering, data engineering, or test engineering. And I think one of the nice things about it is it's completely open-ended. So you don't have to make a decision in terms of where you want to go prior to joining the business. You get an opportunity to learn a little bit more about kind of what these different roles entail, develop a bit more of a kind of rounded skill set, and make a more informed decision around what's going to be the most suitable pathway for you. And it's not to say that once you've made a decision, that's it, it's set in stone, you can never kind of move into another area. There's a lot of crossover in regards to what these skills require, and you'll often find people align themselves to more than one of these capabilities. So you might have a software engineering test, or you might have a software engineer who works quite heavily on kind of DevOps or cloud projects. So there's opportunity. Hopefully, it's a really good opportunity for you to develop a bit more of a rounded skill set, but also find out what it is that you're interested and passionate about before you make a decision in terms of which of those pathways you want to settle upon. The training will give you a chance to learn more about them, and also like the first few projects you work on, you might actually find yourself working in various different areas. This is just some kind of quotes of people that have been through the academy. I always find Tom's quite funny because I think he's definitely overselling his experience. But he says, spend more time than you had out for the pre-course learning materials. Some of the stuff in there is really useful. I would say buckle up for an intense 4 weeks, but the 4 weeks will be some of the best weeks of your life. I would say. I'm definitely going to remember mine forever. So that's he generally said that, so I don't know. You didn't ask him to say that, but there you go. But yeah, I think obviously he's saying utilize the resources that you've got available to you. It's a really good opportunity for you to learn an awful lot. So 4 weeks, obviously, isn't a long time, but it is pretty intensive. I think Dan, who's the head of the academy, says he pretty much gets 8 weeks worth of content into 4 weeks, so you will have a lot to learn. But I think it is enjoyable, and if that's something that you're interested in, you get to learn an awful lot in that period. And they say again, for another quote there, you cover lots of different topics really fast in a really good environment to learn and adapt and gain new knowledge. And then got a couple of people in terms of kind of backgrounds. So I think, as I mentioned before, we get people from a range of different backgrounds. I've actually got a list I'll read off to you in a second of the different routes or different careers people had previously. So Ben is actually someone I used to work with. So when I first started working in recruitment in a recruitment agency, Ben worked there, and he ended up moving in-house similar to myself. And he worked across a number of different kind of tech companies across Leeds. Ended up being kind of a contractor at the start of COVID, unfortunately, because obviously the organisations were looking to save money. They got rid of he lost his job, but then he'd always been kind of quite tech savvy and interested. He was always kind of someone who, as a recruiter, had gone above and beyond to really understand kind of what roles he was recruiting for. So he used the time that he had available on his hands to actually teach himself how to code. So he went back and spoke to some of the previous hiring managers and engineering managers that he'd worked with previously. So I think he was just been working at a company called The Zone, which you might come across, like a sports streaming platform. He went to speak to their engineering manager, a guy called Rich McIntyre. He's actually now at BJSS, but asked him, what would you suggest I do? What are the key things I'd have to learn if I wanted to move into tech? He gave me some advice. He did some online courses, worked on some projects. Obviously, he knew me, so he reached out to me, knew that we had our academy program, and he joined us in March of last year. And he's doing kind of really, really well now. So he's obviously working. He's helping now, and he's loved it. Like I say, he's worked on a couple of projects since then. He's managed to develop loads of new skills. He's actually now a squad lead, so he's managing people across the business. He comes to help out as a tutor on the new academies when we're running them. But yeah, he's just an example of someone that you don't have to come from any formal education in working in tech. He literally did it all in his own time, utilised online resources like for free, developed the skills that he needed, and ended up securing a role. So yeah, the structure of academy is what appealed most to me. I want to learn and I want to succeed, and the academy sets him up for both. And then I think Pierce is more traditional route, but I think it's just so you can. What reason why it's put Pierce in there is because you can see the variety of work that you could possibly get involved with. So yeah, he computer science graduate from the University of Nottingham. Got to learn lots of different technologies, disciplines, and about BJSS. Understand the need for adaptability in consultancy and software engineering role, and you get to meet fellow graduates from other offices and build friendships and have fun. I think obviously that was one of the key things why I wanted to do some in-person training again, because it's a great opportunity for you to get to meet the other people across the business. But I guess these are an overview of a couple of projects he's worked on so far, and just the variety and kind of how different they might be. So he worked on the DVSA project that I mentioned before. So he's working, it's a mobile application using Ionic and AWS, and helping to develop a new mobile application that's been implemented for kind of quite an important thing within the UK, and lots of people are going to use it. And then in the next project is completely different. So he's now replatforming or upgrading the client's website using Vue.js, GraphQL, and Azure. So he's worked on two projects. He's got the opportunity to use the two biggest cloud platforms. And yeah, I guess it's just a chance for you to see the variety of work that you can hopefully get involved with. A couple of final things. So we do hopefully do, I guess it's something that often comes up and people quite like, is the work that we do within the community. So we do hopefully as a business, we try to give back where we possibly can, working with local organisations. And it's something that we're looking hopefully to tie into the academy more so moving forward, whether that be actually getting you to do some tech for good projects as part of as part of the initial training period, or actually getting involved with running kind of local code clubs or events within our offices. But in each local office, we do work with various different organisations. So we do Digital Her over in Manchester, which is about providing, I guess, opportunities for young females to learn about careers in technology. And we do a lot of stuff with like Leeds libraries and local schools in Leeds as well. And I know it's something that people are usually quite keen to get involved with. I think especially for people perhaps who haven't come from a traditional group like yourselves, it's nice to be able to kind of provide insights and opportunities to people from kind of non-traditional backgrounds as well. And then also something that we're keen to do, which we haven't had as much chance to be able to do because of COVID, is build like a much wider alumni network across people who've come through the academy. So we've got over, I think, 250 people across the business now that have come through our academy program. So it's a really big group of people that have got varying different experiences of their times within the company, lots of experience and lots of knowledge to share, and insights to be able to share with you as well. So we're keen to run like alumni networks. So we're looking at now to create local alumni networks, but also like a national one, whether that be kind of communities where you can meet, but also running events to give you the opportunity to get to know people that have come through the academy previously. So you don't just have your own cohort, you have a kind of a much wider pool of people, and you can tap into their experiences as well. I think there's one final slide. So in terms of what we look for from people, I guess it's passion for technology, and potential, so potential to learn and want to kind of learn and develop, good problem solving skills, which includes kind of some ability to programming, and if you've got some previous experience, that would be great as well. And that's it. So I'll see.
Thanks, Joe.
Shall I just work through these questions, Alice?
Yeah, if you could, and if anyone else has any questions, please feel free to ask away. But Joe, are these slides available? Are you able to send them over?
I can share them with you after this. Yeah, that's
cool. That would be great. So I think a couple of people had to drop off during the during your chat, just so we've got that. But yeah, no. If you want to go through those, and then I've got a couple of questions as well.
Okay, so application process. So to apply, you just need a CV. You can attach a cover letter as well if you'd like, but it's not a requirement. And then it's you'd have initial conversation with myself or either Becca or Imogen, who sit within my team. It's not really an interview, it's just an initial screening call. It's to find out a little bit more about yourself, answer any questions you might have to start with, and also, I guess, go through the process with you, which I'll go through now, but obviously for the usual people, you go through the process as well. So then there'll be a technical test. It's like a take-home technical test that you do in your own time. So it's a practical coding challenge. You can do that in any language of your choice. So whatever programming language you're most comfortable with, you can use. And it's 3 questions, and they ask you to kind of do some basic programming to solve them. Let's say you do that in your own time. There's no kind of major rush to do it. I think it gives you up to 2 hours to complete it. It might not take you 2 hours, but it's good to make sure you've got 2 hours available in case you do need to utilize the whole time. Then if you're successful at that stage, there's an initial 90-minute kind of more technically focused interview. So first of all, we have to prepare a presentation. So nothing too in-depth, 10 minutes, a few slides on a project that you've worked on where you've utilized your programming skills. Or if you don't, I guess, well, you will have a project that you've worked on because you can use what you've done within Manchester Codes. But for those who perhaps don't feel they've got something that's relevant, we ask them to do just on an area of technology that they're passionate about. So I guess it's more to see how well you present across your ideas. But if you have got a project, it's always great to see what you've done as well previously. And then also we set you a small challenge before to kind of create a small piece of code that does a certain function. You bring that along with you to the interview, and I say it's a pair program exercise. It is to some extent, but obviously you're the only one who's going to be programming. The other person's there to give you advice and guidance. So they will look at the initial solution that you've developed, but they're also looking at how well you take on board their advice that they provide you with. If there's perhaps a new concept or a way of working you've not come across before, if they give you pointers, can you pick up on it? Are you asking the right types of questions? Are you using the resources that are available to you? And sometimes if I wouldn't say criticize, but if they give people advice and it's telling them to do something a different way, people sometimes get their backs up. So it's more around, how well can you work with someone else? Can you take on board the guidance that they're going to provide you with? There's going to be lots of occasions when you're going to have to ask people for help. So are you comfortable doing that? And if so, can you pick up what on what they've told you to do? And then within that, we'll just ask you some kind of traditional kind of interview questions as well. It's a bit more about your background, interests, why you're interested in BJSS, why you're moving to career in tech, a chance for you to ask any questions you might have about projects you maybe could get involved with. And then that's done, so it's done virtually. And then there's one final stage, which is, it's usually 30 minutes to 60 minutes, and that's with someone from the local leadership team, whichever location you're interested in working out of, and that's more of a team and culture fit interview. So we're actually now providing opportunity for people to do that in person if they'd like to, because we get more and more requests of people who want to go and actually meet some of the team or go see where they're working. And so you can go into the local office where you're going to be based and see that. And then that's it. So 3 stages: technical test, technical interview, and then a team and culture fit interview. Like I say, all can be done virtually if needs be. Where is the academy based? So like I said before, we've got 10 sites that we recruit into now. So Leeds, London, Manchester, Nottingham, Bristol, Birmingham, Glasgow, Sheffield, Cardiff, and look, we're going to be opening up Newcastle as well. And then we also do have Lisbon. But the first week, as I mentioned before, everyone comes to Leeds, and then the rest of it's done remotely. After that initial 4 weeks, then you'll be based out of one of those locations, and obviously you get to decide where you want to be based. Obviously, we only have a certain number of spaces on each intake, so we do 4 intakes each year. So we do March and June, which have already been, September, which we're already full for this year, because but then we've got another intake in November. So we do those intakes each year. So 4 intakes a year. Each location has a set number for each intake. But there's all those sites. So the sooner you kind of apply, the better, because you have kind of the pick of the bunch. Technical capabilities, soft skills.
I think you answered those.
Yeah. So I think soft skills, again, it's good collaboration, effective communication, team working skills. Obviously, you might not have a huge amount of interaction with clients to begin with, but as a consultancy, there's always a possibility that you will do. So the ability to be able to kind of get your point across and communicate effectively is quite important. How often do you recruit for the academy? Just answered that. Then when is the deadline for application? It's on a rolling basis. So let's say, because we do 4 intakes a year, it's just a constant kind of rolling basis. So if someone applies initially for, say, September, but we run out of spaces, we just offer them a role for November. Obviously, they might find a job somewhere else, but they've got the chance to wait if they wish to do so.
Cool. I don't know if anyone else has any other questions. That was really informative, and there was some really great advice there as well, about the interview process and what sort of things people are looking for on the interview. So that's really helpful. I think sometimes people can get a bit taken aback by the technical test, that then the soft skills and that just sort of things that they've naturally interviewed before in the past just sort of goes out the window. So that was really, really helpful. Somebody has asked, when can you reapply if you weren't successful the first time?
3 months later. So give it 3 months and then apply again. So I think 3 months from the end of your application rather than from when you first applied. So 3 months.
Yeah. Okay. Wicked. Cool. Thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions? Like I said, I can get those slides from Joe, and I will post them into our Slack channel. I'll also post everything you need to apply. Joe is also on Slack, so I'm sure if you have any questions, he'd be more than happy to answer those for you as well. Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. I think it was great. Very informative. So thank you very much. Thanks everyone for watching. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me and obviously to Joe. But yeah, thanks for joining us, Joe. Oh, a question, Ben. On the website, there was also an option to apply for an apprentice software engineer. How does that differ? Do you deal with that?
So actually we just opened up some apprenticeships. Obviously, less experience required, so you don't really need any experience. I guess nowadays there's so much competition, you probably will still need to have some previous experience.
Yeah.
There's lots of people who are applying who are, but you obviously different level in terms of you don't require as much experience. Obviously, you get some formal training through a training provider. So if you're if it's in Leeds, we work with Manchester Digital, who do so that they do a level 4 apprenticeship, software engineering apprenticeship, so which is equivalent to a foundation degree. So you get formalized training through them. You get a formal qualification at the end. We actually do a longer kind of training period for you. So with Manchester Digital, you do a 4-week kind of get ready boot camp with them. So you are employed with us for that, but before you actually join us, you go to that, and then we actually do a further 3 months before we look to get you onto a project. So you actually get 4 months worth of training, before you actually get placed onto a project. Obviously, the expectation is that you don't have to be as experienced, and obviously it's a more junior role, so you're not paid as much as well. I guess that's kind of the key difference.
Yeah. Cool, thank you. But yeah, thanks, Joe, for today. Thank you for everyone watching. This is obviously recorded, so feel free to catch up whenever. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, everyone, and have a nice day. See you later.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.